Welcome to the Alyssa Goodman Show. I am really excited today to have two of my favorite podcasters. I just found out that their podcast reached number 13 in all of podcasting, women's podcasting, not just women, right?
For all women's podcasts.
All women's podcasting.
BuzzFeed wrote about us.
And they have only been doing this, you guys, for 2.5 years. And that is so commendable.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Like, that's why I love these girls. I ask all of my guests, they're all health and wellness game changers. And what are you doing in the health and wellness space to change the game? I guess we just talked about it a little bit.
What are we doing
in the health and wellness space to change
with
the game?
Our show, it really was derived from our own curiosity and us not really finding the information presented in a way that felt fun and palatable. So we were like, let's do that. It just came from our own need, basically.
Yeah, I feel like we're just like letting people know that wellness and well-being isn't just like about being a vegan or about not eating bread or not doing, it's like a whole thing, and it's really whatever works for you.
Were you interested in the health and wellness? Were you in it at all before, prior to this podcast?
I mean, yes. I liked feeling good, and I was interested in exploring different modalities for that, but I wouldn't say, but it always felt separate from me.
Okay, removed.
A bit. And what about you, Steph?
I was pretty invested. I had acid reflux from a really young age, and so I learned about changing my diet as a teenager, and that was kind of my introduction to this world, and I just learned so much. You know, that was in like 2004, 2005, so it was like more new.
Right.
Like no one even had heard of what gluten was at that time, and I was like, I can't eat it.
Right.
And
still can't?
No, now I eat it. From time to time.
Can't.
I'm not really supposed to, but I think that it's not healthy to just take everything away from yourself forever. I think it's good to once in a while have a piece of sourdough bread or whatever, like a pretzel roll, whatever appeals to you. Yeah.
Right. So what gets you up in the morning with these people that you're interviewing? I mean, what excites you with the podcast?
I think just curiosity is what drives it, and we're just we love the idea that was presented to us from one of our guests of permission to be the beginner. So, you know, the space of podcasting, you know, Stephanie comes from a comedy background, I come from a fashion background, and the podcasting thing was new to us, but we really went for it, and it's been such a journey. And every single show we learn something new. Every show, I think, we strengthen as a duo, we strengthen as interviewers, we strengthen as presenters of information. So that growth, I think, is what excites me when I'm waking up in the morning.
What about you?
Yeah, I just want people to know through our show or whatever means possible that taking care of yourself is easy and fun.
I mean, because I think people think that it's like really hard and arduous, right? It's like an uphill battle to get healthy.
I mean, in the beginning, it definitely is to like change your habits. Changing habits and making new choices can be challenging, but once you realize how accessible everything is and how it's really interesting, it's much more fun to take control of the choices that you're making. It's really just about your mind frame. Like as soon as you say like I can't do something or something's hard, it's going to be that's going to be true.
Right.
So if you're like, oh, this is going to be fun or this is going to be interesting, then the world
changes.
Yeah.
So it opens the doors for you.
And that's our goal with the show. We want to present this information in a way that's like, here's the information. We're going to laugh about it. We're going to have fun.
Right.
It's not one size fits all, but like with information, you can really form a toolkit of what within the wellness world works for you.
Right. Yeah. What do you think about this wellness world?
It's so funny because I feel like when we first started the show, I mean, it wasn't even that long ago.
No.
And it was like, of course, you know, I remember growing up, I had my friend's mom was like really healthy and she would always make us drink like spritzers instead of sodas, and they drank rice milk and
Did you think that was
weird puff cereal. Yeah, everyone was like, your mom's a freak. And no one else was doing that. And that was, you know, so I know it's been around for a long time, but even just 2.5 years ago, this like trend, this boom, whatever, the label of wellness has just taken on like a life of its own.
Right.
And I think for us, correct me if I'm wrong, we aren't really we're not trying to jump on like a trend bandwagon. Like for me now, when I hear wellness, I'm like, ugh,
yeah, or it's like cringy.
I'm like,
Okay.
it's just self-empowerment and well-being and radical personal responsibility is way more interesting to me than like, wellness, here's a smoothie, it's gonna change your life. Like,
Yes.
I don't
I
think that's real.
Like we've definitely along the journey we've covered the quote unquote wellness trends, and that's just because it's something that was intriguing to us or on the radar within the industry. But I think as we get deeper within our own journey and our progression with the show, it's more than just those trends, and it's really a focus on the human experience and like what we can do to elevate that.
And like I think we've tried a lot of the trends, but I think for both of us, we keep returning to pretty much the same staples.
Interesting.
So I mean, there's cool things like certain like powders or proteins, information that I've received that I'm like, oh yeah, this is the crucial thing that I've kind of been missing.
Yeah.
But I think keeping it simple is much better.
I was just going to ask you that because it's like it does feel inundating. The amount of products. We were just talking about supplements a little bit. Yes. Yeah. Our favorite store, Erewhon, where we run into each other a lot, right?
I mean, I spend every paycheck of mine.
Exactly. You walk out of there and it's like, a little bag of $200. I mean, most people can't do that these days. And there is like an enormous amount of info.
Yeah.
So
but you don't need to do that.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, like, you don't need to do that. You feel like you're trying to kind of bust through that myth that you do have to take all these supplements, or you do have to juice every day, or you do have to do these things, right?
I think like a big problem that no one really talks about, maybe some do, but it isn't like the main conversation, is that nothing is one size fits all.
Yeah.
Like every single human body is different. So what you need to take every day, what I need to take, what she needs to take are not going to be the same. So it's like everyone should be taking this thing, and then that's not true.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people end up like spending their money because they want something that's going to fix them, but they don't really know what's going on with them. And so it's a lot like I have so many vitamins in my house that I just bought over the years because someone was like, this is going to be the thing that's going to solve all your problems.
Right.
And then it didn't do anything to me because it's just not the thing
that worked for you.
Yeah. So
personally.
Yeah.
For both you guys.
But like for us, the mainstay is like moving your body, sitting in stillness, hydrating. Like these are all things that can be done under a relatively conscious budget.
Very cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. That people don't do these days, right? That they don't even, because we're in such a fast-paced environment and world we're living in, that we're not even stopping to take time to do those things.
Everything kind of always goes back to just taking a minute.
Right. A pause.
A pause.
Right.
Yeah.
And so eating as many like whole foods as possible.
Right. Do I know that?
I feel like you might know something
about
that.
Share in the world. But
yeah, I have somebody here that's in my household that might be like, oh, I'm tired of her dinners.
You're the weird
and her
mom with the spritzers.
I am. I'm the weird mom. Yeah, with no sugar in the house.
Yeah.
Who caused them to go out and like crave sugar.
Yeah.
My mom did that too, and anytime I would go over to a friend's house, it was like, give me all the Pop-Tarts.
I know.
It
was crazy.
So.
I mean, I think that happened to most people.
Yeah.
I know. You think you're doing the right thing, but it was the opposite. So you've taped how many episodes of your podcast?
Over 100.
Wow.
Like
20?
Yeah.
15?
And I think maybe there's like 108 probably that are available at this point. We did about, I would say roughly 10 shows before we went to air, just to really like practice shows, which I think I highly recommend. We always get asked about people if they want to start a podcast, like really find your groove, trial and error. But that being said, like just jump off the cliff and do it. And it can also find its groove once it's out there into the world. But for us, we kind of did some practice things to really find our vibe. And then it's really grown, and I think that we've really found
your
our
niche.
Our vibe.
Yeah, I think so too. But you have so many different people on, like you were saying. Do you have some favorites?
We can't say that.
Favorite child. Yes, I will say that
you don't have to mention names, but like the subject matter. Are there some that are really out there? That's what I'm curious about. Like
I think, like for instance, we had
that you didn't know anything about.
Like the Shaman Durek episode.
Yes.
He's an incredible shaman.
Yeah.
Who had a near-death experience that he spoke about, and just what we retrieved from our listeners in terms of feedback was they were like,
Whoa.
changed their perspective. And so anything that can kind of shift people's views or open up people's views are my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
I liked when we
That's
had
what I love, too.
the founders of Lord Jones on,
Yeah.
which is this edible.
What is that?
It's an edible company.
Okay.
And one of them, their husband and wife, they're really cool. He was talking about the history of cannabis in America, and that was really fascinating to me. It's like when I get a lot of information that I hadn't known at all, historically speaking, in terms of like where the stuff is coming from. You know, we're living in a society where a lot of information is held back,
Right.
because they want us to buy certain things or certain things to be the big money makers. And so when we get like that kind of information, it's just really illuminating.
Right.
And I'm like, I was right. I should listen.
Right all along.
I knew
More
it.
edibles, more,
Yeah.
So what do you see as the future? Like what are you guys striving for? And just staying on the train that you are, you feel like, because you found your groove, or?
The goal is to really bring this information to as many people as possible in the way we're presenting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because-
just keeping it accessible and keeping it fun really is, because if someone, I think that it takes a certain kind of person to seek this information, and if it seems too dense, I don't want us to be treating this like we're taking people to school.
Right.
No one likes school.
Right.
Some people do, but most people don't. School's boring.
Yeah.
And I just want us to be able to like educate and illuminate in a way that people are like, I can do this, I can help myself. And when you're helping yourself and you feel good, you can be available to the rest of your life.
That's true.
Other people and other things.
How has it changed your life?
Well, it was funny. I had this moment. I'm like, wow. I had this moment when we first were kind of like, okay, this is happening. We're doing this. I was like, I'm about to go on a journey. And I could feel it in every bit of my being. And first and foremost, it made me much more accountable for my own health.
Interesting.
And because we have to talk about it every week.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
like we can't be hungover.
That's right. You're personal about your own
Exactly.
stuff and your own journey.
So that has been, and with that, I've done just a full 180 that I don't know has more to do with me moving into my 30s and a natural thing, or if it's amplified because we talk about our health journey. And so, that's very much part of the show.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's the main focus. Whereas before it was kind of like tapping me on the back and I wasn't paying attention to it.
Right. What about you, Stephanie?
Yeah, I would say the same. And also just like whenever I'm feeling, if I'm slipping into like a depression or I see myself not being totally healthy, I remind myself like, it's your job. Oh my God, I just saw my nails. I'm so sorry. It's
Well,
gross. This is.
They don't have to be perfect.
I know. Well,
nothing has to be perfect.
My hands
here.
are not my job, but my insides are great. No, I just remind myself like it's my job to take care of myself, and that's true of everyone.
Yeah.
Honestly. But it didn't occur to me in the same way before. I felt like we were taking responsibility for other people in that way as well. Like if we're not showing up for ourselves and taking care of ourselves, putting good things in our body, both mentally and physically, from the second that we wake up into the morning, we're doing a disservice to the people that are looking to us to guide them.
That's true.
So.
And it's hard to be on. It's hard to be on, like, and ask the right questions and get the information out of these people.
Oh my God, when we are tired or, we've drank or
yeah.
we've traveled or it's a
Retrograde.
retrograde, whatever, and we're sitting there
There's one
recording,
going
we're
on
just
now.
like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
The retrograde is
Do you
real.
feel them? Do you feel these retrogrades and all this stuff more now that you're in this space?
I don't think
and
that
talking
we feel
about
them
it?
more. I think we know what it is.
Yeah.
Like I think we would just probably before be like, man, this month has been horrible. We feel like weird and backwards and all over the place. And now we just have a label for it.
Context.
Yeah.
Right. I love you guys
I
and
also
always
love you too.
have. I
Love
mean,
you
I
too.
met you before the podcast and fell in love and knew that this was going to be a success. And I watch you the whole way and I'm so excited for the two of you, because to hear you guys are like at the top of people's lists for podcasts. I know when I was on the podcast, I got tons of emails, and I've been on other podcasts and I didn't get the same amount of emails. So I can tell
our lilisteners are engaged.
They're
phenomenal.
engaged. Yeah. Like, what would you say the age group is? Speaking of that,
College to like
it could be as old as me,
to
right?
like Ew.
This is old.
College and up.
I don't think there really is
An age
I mean,
limit,
I don't know if we have like
right?
100-year-olds listening to us, but they could.
Yeah. Right.
We're not trying to skew a certain. I think
Yeah,
that most
that's
of our
true.
listeners are probably around our age in
Right.
that like 10-year
Yeah.
bracket, late 20s.
That's how old you are?
No, I'm lying.
Yeah.
But that's just because, they're identifying with us because they see themselves in us.
Right. And you do make it fun.
Right.
And like you said, approachable and not so serious. Not like you've got to take these supplements and you got to do these meditations and
I mean, it's trial and error,
Yeah.
and it's what works for you. If you're trying to do something to make yourself feel good and it's making you feel bad or
Yeah.
it's too hard for you, you're swimming up against the stream.
right. And that's the message is like, do not swim up against the stream, right? Like
it's not supposed to be hard.
it's not supposed to be hard. I
Get in
know.
the flow.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I ask everybody at the end to sum up, their mission statement, and what is in one word. Could you do that?
In one word.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. You got to talk to each other. You guys are going to have different
Wait,
words.
okay, no.
The two of you don't have to have the same word.
I was gonna say something so stupid. One
you
word.
know
Okay,
nothing
ready?
is-
yeah.
Let's both say the first word that comes to our mind. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Some of our mission statement in one word.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a
Do you
tough
have yours?
one, huh?
You do. Fuck, yours is gonna be good. Okay. One word. It is.
Fun.
Oh shit! My rosary
Because
just
if
broke.
we're not having fun, then like, what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? I love
and
that.
and we want to make all of this sometimes dense information,
Yeah,
flip it on its
fun.
head. Yeah.
Yeah,
even
just
say a
like
word.
I know. I love listening to your podcast because of that. It is fun. It's real. You laugh. We need to laugh. It's so crucial.
Yeah.
We're also serious, and what's going on in the world is so serious, right? You thank God you make fun of that too. And what
And we
we're
sometimes get in trouble for that.
I know. I mean, that really is part of it. Like, I know people, especially, women of a generation a little bit older than us who've been
That's
trying,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
who've been trying to get better, feel better for a really long time, and it feels so heavy. Nothing maybe is like objectively wrong. There's no disease. There's not actual they don't have cancer. They don't have this. It's just a general feeling of like not feeling good.
Yeah.
And I really think the block is like the mental thing around it, which is that it just feels so unfun.
right.
It feels so
Yeah.
impossible and so out of their reach. And for us, we're just like, just start trying stuff and start believing that it's possible to feel your best. And it's like the ultimate fake it till you make it.
Right. Right. That was the best. Somebody told me that was the best thing ever. I try to tell that to my girls, but
Your body listens to your mind in that way, I think.
Yeah, I know. They're like, fake it till you make it. What is that? So weird. Like,
Yeah.
What's your one word?
Yeah.
passion.
Ooh.
I just feel like I want to be passionate about everything, like about you guys, about doing the show, about what I do for clients, the soup cleanse, my girls, my fiance, my family. I want to be passionate. I feel like all my life I've kind of like just been on this like a little brain dead. I don't know if that's the right word, but not really living my true passion or my purpose. So I've just been doing what everybody else told me I need to be doing.
And you're
So
doing it now.
now,
which is so
At this
phenomenal.
age, to be able to do it now, oh my God.
I mean, that's
It's the best
amazing.
gift.
Like, I think that's another thing. And people are like, it's too late.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Yes, it's never too
Not-
late.
You're still alive.
Yeah.
Like, do it now.
Yes, we're going to be alive for many years. I mean, even at my age, hopefully I'm alive for another
Yeah.
20 years
Yeah.
at least, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to feel good. If I don't feel good, I'm not going to be doing the things I love.
Totally.
So,
Well, you inspire us so much.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Oh, you're so
Thank
sweet.
you.